Today I'm answering rumors about how we were shunned at the church. Please subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can be notified when we put up new videos. Hello, I am Tara, the author of the Dining on a Dime cookbook, where you can eat better, spend less. We have a new hardcover with full color pictures and over 1,200 recipes and tips to help you save money on your grocery bill. Check it out at livingonadime.com. Hello guys! So there's lots of rumors that go around about us. Most of them I don't read. I don't even know anything about them. I just hear bits and pieces from people who say, did you hear about so-and-so? And I'll say, nope, I didn't, but it's okay. One of the rumors though, I thought I would go ahead and answer. It's kind of funny because people make up all these big elaborate things about us, and most of it isn't really that big of a deal. So it's kind of funny when I do hear some things that people are like, they make this huge ordeal thing about it, and really it wasn't that big of a deal. But one of the rumors that I was hearing was about us being shunned at the church. So in Penny Pension Mama, my mom talked about how when my dad left the church that we were attending at the time, because of the things my dad did, he turned on us. Now, all kinds of things have swirled around that. I found one post on a YouTube video, and one person said, a church shunning a destitute mother and children due to her husband and father doesn't sound very Christian to me. Isn't that what the church is supposed to do? Take care of the struggling, deserted, abandoned wife and mother? Okay, so another person said, I may be remembering wrong, but the husband was quite charming man, and the church members sided with him, even though he was the one who was misbehaving and left his family. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I have seen this happen myself in churches. I think from watching Jill that she is truly a remarkable woman and has a submissive quality about her. And then small towns have a limited resources, and the church is one of them. If the church decides you are not one of them, there is not much you can do when they judge you. The reasoning is the man must have left for a good reason, so that must be the family's fault. Hence they don't deserve help. Okay, so all of that is not right. So what happened was we were going to an independent Baptist church in the 70s and 80s. Now, one of the things about Baptist churches is that they can be on the legalistic side. So what does that mean? That means that you follow the rules of the Bible, but you don't do it with a loving and kind heart. Okay? Now, let me just say that what the church did to us was completely 100% wrong. But this is just what happened. So my dad was what would be considered a worship pastor now. He was in charge of all the worship, the choir. He played the piano for church. He was in the church. He volunteered for this. He was not on staff. He just volunteered, but he played for all the weddings, all the funerals, all the choir, every service. We were there Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, sometimes on Saturday for practicing. We were there all the time. So we were very involved with the church. When my dad left my mom, we stayed at that church because we didn't have any family in the town that we lived in. And back then, you really didn't just leave a church unless you had a really good reason. So we stayed for a couple of, well, no, it was more than a couple. We stayed for probably 6 or 7 years, actually. But when my dad left, no one would have anything to do with us. And we did a whole video on this, but what happened was, because of my dad's sin, the church took it out on my mom and my brother and I. Was that right? No, it was not. Was it fair? No, it was not. And we stayed and we tried to make it work. My mom's best friend at the time was still going there, but she was widowed and she was having, kind of a hard time too. She was the Sunday school teacher for the teen girls. She was my Sunday school teacher for a while. And so she was the only person who helped us out. So basically what happened was we kept going to this church and pretty much no one would have anything to do with us. We went for the preaching, and this is a church that we had belonged to for not quite 10 years before that happened, probably 7 or 8 years before that happened. And it was really hard. When my parents separated, we moved to southeastern Colorado for 10 or 11 months. And then we came back to Kansas. Mom felt like she was supposed to move back to Kansas, so she did. And we came back and we started going back to the church that my parents had gone to. My dad, by that time, was no longer in the church, but Mom and my brother and I went back. And so we came back and it was really hard. We didn't change, but we came back and no one would talk to us. All of my friends that I thought were really good friends would have nothing to do with me. I would go to Sunday school and I'd sit by myself. And no one would talk to me. But back then, that's what you did. You didn't change churches. We literally had no one to help us except for that one friend of my mom's. Mom was working 3 jobs, making $1,000 a month. 500 of it was going off to pay my dad's debts and to pay off our house. My dad gave us no child support at all. No help from his family. No help from our family, from my mom's family. And it was just us. And even the one friend, she couldn't help us out financially. She was a single widowed mom with two little kids. And no, that's not how churches are supposed to act. But here's the thing. After going through that, now we help people out when we see that they really need help or they're truly struggling. We have heaped coals on Satan's back for the harm that he tried to do to us by us turning around and we help other people. When we see a family where they have little kids and the dad was just diagnosed with cancer. We help them out. When we see a single mom and she's truly trying to help herself get out of the situation, we help them. So now we turn around and we help other people. You have to sometimes just get through those things, forgive, and move on, and be the Christian you are supposed to be. I'm not saying what those people did was right. The way they treated us was wrong. And I will say there was a couple of other people in the church that were speaking to us, and they were nice to us. And when Mom went to jail, the assistant pastor came and sat with David and I. So as the pastors tried, but it finally got to the point where the pastor one day told Mom, he said, I don't know if there's anything you can do. You've done nothing wrong, but I can't change the way they're treating you. And so I think it would just be better if you tried to find another church. And so then we went to another church, a bigger church. And that's the church that we were going to when we got sick. And they're the ones that brought us the freezer burned food when it happened. And honestly, we lived in Wichita, and it's a fairly big city. It wasn't a small town by any means. I mean, we're talking several 100,000 people, but I'm not sure if it's because my dad was so well known for the things that he did or just coincidence. I don't know, but we were never able to really become a part of that church either. And part of it may have just been she was a single divorced mom, and there was a stigma about that, even in the 80s. So here's what happened. My dad was very influential in the church as the worship pastor. Because of the things he had done, the church turned on us. Wasn't right, but it's what happened. And so I would just like to encourage people to actually look and see, are there people that truly need help? Now, I will say, if I don't volunteer at my church's food pantry, because I have been there and lived it, and I can tell you the majority of people that come to food churches and ask for things don't actually want to help themselves. I would say at a church's food pantry, if someone comes to the food pantry and needs food, if I was running the food pantry, I would say, sure, we have 4 bags of groceries right here for you, or however many bags of groceries. Come over here and vacuum the church for us in exchange for that, and we will give you the groceries. And let me tell you, the majority of people would not do that. They wouldn't. That's why I'm so hard on things like food pantries and helping people. The school lunch program at schools, parents should have to work at least an hour a week to get free meals at schools. They should. The Bible says if you don't work, you don't eat. And I understand that there are some people who are truly hard up and truly having a hard time. But there are a lot of people where it's mom and dad in the family with a couple of kids, and they're coming to the church wanting free food, or they're coming to the church wanting the church to pay their utility bills. You need to be careful when you're giving money to places like that, that these people truly need help. So that's why I'm not real big on food pantries and things like that, because honestly, 90% of the people that come through there, they don't want to work for what they're getting. And if somebody's willing to work to get that stuff, then I know they actually need it. If I look at their shoes and they're wearing brand new shoes, but they're claiming that they're hard up, but they have $100 pair of shoes on, I'm going to question, why do you have a $100 pair of shoes on instead of a $10 clearance Walmart pair of shoes on? You don't need a $100 pair of shoes when you're in desperate situations. Now, I know some people will say, oh, but maybe they were given the shoes. Okay, that's fine. But I guarantee you that is not the norm. Okay, it's the same thing when we holler about the food pantries and say, look at all these brand new SUVs driving up in the food pantry with their iPhone and their long fingernails and their dress to the hilt. Oh, well, you don't know their situation. No, I don't, but I have been in that situation. And I can guarantee you that my mom would have worked to get that food if she needed to. I would work to get that food if I needed to. And these people do not want to work to get the food. I'm not saying that's everyone, but that is a good portion of the people. So, anyway, that is what happened with our church shunning us. If you guys have other questions, please leave them in the description below, and I will try and answer them. Due to some of the things that happened, I respect my mom, and I'm not going to talk about some of the things that happened, but if there is a question that I can answer, I will try and answer it. So please leave it in the description below. Also, if you guys want to learn how to save money and get out of debt, please visit us at livingonadime.com. We have thousands of articles and recipes to help you save money on your groceries and get out of debt today. We will see you guys next time.